Hello, you're listening to the Talk of Spirit Animecast. My name is Andrew, and I'm joined here with Chris.
Yo.
Today's episode is a discussional podcast episode. We talk about the news that seems important to us, dive into our community, answer some great questions from our community members, and then say goodbye. So how has the last few weeks been, Chris, since our last discussional podcast? Because we had like a week delay on our music, and then we had our first impression, so it's been a little while.
Other than some headaches, we've been doing pretty good.
Other than headaches. Okay.
Got another headache today. I'm headaches on my head right now, so.
I had that as well, but that was because I was doing a bunch of stuff outside, working on a gate, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to get up this morning at all. my body was like, no, let's just stay. We're good. You
still got some sunburn going on.
Yeah, I did get a sunburn going on, but I think that was more for when I was doing the pressure washing.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I had the sun on my back, so it wasn't that sunny yesterday, so it was perfect. Even though the entire time I was like, oh man, it's gonna rain, 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 but it didn't. So we're good, and I'll have to finish the rest of it Thursday. Hopefully, it doesn't rain Thursday. I don't think it's raining Thursday.
I don't know. I'd have to check, and I don't have my phone with me.
We'll see. But yeah, I played Resident Evil Village, and I finished that.
You finished it?
I beat it like 3 times. Because I had to get the unlocks in order to get the points in order to buy the infinite weapons. It's so funny because that's one of those games where it's like, oh, cool, you can do like extra stuff to get unlocks. And so it gives you a reason to play it again. But it's like, by the time you get what you wanted to unlock, it's like, but I don't need to play anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're fighting to get the unlocks. And then it's like, well, okay, well, I'm done then. I don't really need to do anymore. I mean, technically, I could probably go and do like the hardest difficulty or something just to... Because I heard the hardest difficulty that unlocks is supposedly like changes the location of the mobs and everything and how they act. So it actually changes the game other than just being, suddenly I know where all the mobs are damage soakers. But I might, once I get everything unlocked, I'll go do that maybe.
I got videos popping up on my feed of people walking around with fly swatters in that game.
Yeah, I heard about something like that. People hitting Lady D with the fly swatter. Yes,
What's up with that?
There is a culture like that. They do like the Lady D. I don't know. I guess I understand it. Very noir looking. Very.
I do like
lady.
her. I do like her aesthetic.
The entire aesthetic. That was like the entire game. The aesthetic was amazing. I loved how that game looked visually. I think it's too inspired by 4. Like, it literally opens up with a village attack scene. It has the boat. It has the fish. It has, like, everything. It's like, it almost like a redesigning of 4. And it's like, I almost think that's to its detriment because it feels like, oh, well, here's the fish boss, just like in 4. Like, do we really have to do everything just like 4 was? I mean, I understand that 4 is literally one of the greatest games of all time, but... Do you have to make it that inspired? Like, I can't even call it inspired anymore. I think it's just a copy.
I wonder if there is a if they're filling out the contingent of where their niche is because there's a. I mean, we were very much into while we liked the co-op of the what was it
4.
No, the next one.
5. Yeah,
5. We like.
What's the next one? 5.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think.
What's the one after 4? 5. Okay.
Well, no, I was thinking more along the lines of which one was it? Was it 5 that actually did the co-op and we liked that? But
and 6 went back to single player, crazy linear.
Yeah, but we didn't much care for the kind of the story and how it felt in general. And whereas we really, really loved.
When did we ever like the story of Resident Evil? It's like
I do like it.
And I mean, yeah, technically with the first and second, it was a cool setting and everything, but it's like the story is just bad pharma. Okay,
I agree, but
and bioweapons. Yay!
I do like the entire. Overall story. I don't care for much of the core.
And 7 and Village had a good story. I mean, technically it had a good story. I mean, the twist at the end was like shrug, but it was a good story overall.
I generally liked I didn't care for the character stories. I don't think that they're really their strong suit is their character stories. I think their strong suit is their world building. Which is probably the thing that I like the most out of it. Now, gameplay mechanics easily 4 is my favorite. I like having the nemesis, some kind of a big boss that is kind of
foreboding.
haunting you. But I think that they put too much emphasis on that in the first couple of them.
I hate it so much in Nemesis. I think Nemesis is one of my Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is one of my least favorite of all the Resident Evils, and that was because of coming off a high of second being so amazing. Like Resident Evil 2 was like game changing, and then 3 came out and it was like, oh, here we go again, and it's like, wow, that wasn't as fun.
Well,
and then like the remakes it was so funny. The remakes had that same feel. Like 2 was amazing, and then 3, oh, that wasn't as fun.
and I don't want to misrepresent what I mean by a nemesis. I mean more along the lines of some kind of a boss that is that has you can't hide from me forever, or whatever his name. He pops up in a lot of the games.
I know who you're talking about though.
He's in a lot of them, and he's one of the mainstays that kind of surpassed who Nemesis was. Wesker, yeah. And he was in a lot of them, and I did, because he was in the first one, as a matter of fact. And you end up at some point finding out that he is working for Umbrella or something like that. And he's, as a mainstay of the franchise, as a main boss, is really cool, and I like him. The problem is his story arc was never really that strong. And that is a perfect example of why I love and hate Resident Evil in general. Is their overall world building story is good, however their character stories really suck. And maybe that's a translation problem.
And that's where I think that they're improving a lot, because 7 and 8 are definitely very character driven stories.
Okay.
And it's trying to get you really into, and that's the good and the bad of the aspect of them going first person, is they're trying to put you in the shoes of a character, and it's like, it's all about immersion. But then suddenly when something happens, you're like, but that's not how I would react, and it's trying to make me submerged into this character, and that's not how I would react in this situation. So it's like that whole issue there of them trying to create immersions, with the immersions breaking by the fact that they technically do want to make this character have character and have a story. But that's my biggest issue right now, is really I don't like first person games like this. And I really do. And like Resident Evil 2 Remake was fantastic, and 3 Remake is still a good game. I don't like the first person view. It's so disorienting. I mean, I had to get a mod to make the field of view better. And I prefer the gameplay and seeing the character of Resident Evil rather than the first person perspective. And I mean, you even said that, like, is it first person? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I'm like, yeah, I have the same feeling, but I want to play it because it's Resident Evil. It's like I have to force myself to play the game because I don't really like first person games like this. It relies too heavy on the jump scares and not so much. Like I said, it had the ambience, it had the feel of the environment. Just make it third person. That's what the big plus was to Village, was that great styling that they had. Unfortunately, similar to 4, it had the whole thing where eventually it just gets to nothing but just a shootout, and it's like, okay, we're copying 4 a little bit too much. And it's so funny because everybody's like, it gets better over time. Like, I think it got less better over time. Not that it got bad, it just got less better over time. Like, I loved the castle, and again, it's a lot to do with aesthetic. Well, I love the castle, but then like later on when it gets into like the factory and the later parts, it's like, again, this is the Ganado shootout stuff. This is less interesting to me. So it is funny that everybody had like an opposite effect. Everybody else is like, oh, it got so much better after the castle. I'm like, I don't know. But again, I do like the aspect of like Lady D being foreboding and unstoppable, just like Mr. X. And Nemesis in 3 Remake had the problem where you could actually, it was this foreboding mass that you can't stop, but it was so scripted and less, I guess, not really random, but had less ability to move around. He was always, I come out here and attack you in this area. It wasn't, he chases you through 15 different locations until you find a location where you can loop around and run back, which, like I said, 2 and 7 had. So
I've been dragging Andrew back into Genshin Impact.
I have to get my daily stuff done so I can get enough crystals to possibly roll for Eula. And I don't know if I want to go for Eula anymore. Like, I wanted to raise Razor to have a neutral physical carry character, like where you don't have to worry about elements. You just have a character that just beats stuff. It's not that they do insane elemental reactions. Physical typically is just, you're just doing a base damage, and that's all you do because you can't do elemental reactions. She can with the ice, but I was going to raise Razor, and now I'm thinking I was going to raise Eula instead because she just attacks so much faster than most Claymore users. But I'm looking at the damage, and it's like, ugh.
I'm getting mixed impressions from people who've already jumped on it. Just to kind of time us out.
We're in the past, and they're in the future over there in the east.
we're technically 8 hours from the banner being changed. So take that into consideration when you listening to us. We're planning on. I'm planning on trying to roll for her. I'm already bordering on the edge of the soft pities, so I should be able to single roll and hopefully get her pretty quick.
I'm on 30 or 40 in, so I'm way behind.
Yeah, I'm at 60 to 66 or so is when I last checked it. But yeah, I do want to get her.
And I never get non-pity. I hate these people that roll and they get it. They get their soft pity, and then they go and they roll again, and boom, they hit another 5. It's like, that never happens to me. Never.
I hate the fact that I am technically, I do a weapon and I've somehow skirted around it for the last 3 banners that I've gotten a 5-star on. So I really am scared of having to go a second round on her. I really don't want to.
Yeah, that's always the worst. And I don't know if I know the last time I'm currently on the character banner, I am set to 50-50 because the last time I got one, of course, was a banner character. But I don't know if I've ever gotten a weapon on the character banner. I get a lot of weapons on the regular banner.
I've gotten weapons on it. But yeah, I've gotten.
I would assume I've had because I have about 3 5-star weapons, so I have to have had. Yeah, I don't roll much in the regular banner.
The last time I got it, I got the Skyward Atlas that I went ahead and put on Klee because that is technically her best in slot right now.
But yeah, I like her style. I like her design. I just love her attack animation. I like that she's a faster Claymore user, which is rare because most Claymore users are just.
And that is literally,
so she's gonna destroy shields.
Yeah, that is literally the reason why I want her is because of her aesthetic and her animations and everything like that.
She throws her sword.
Yeah, she's freaking epic.
I hope that's not an animation hold. That's my only concern, is that if that's an animation hold or if they make it because she's gonna throw her sword. I hope it's not it's a delay after that for the animation for her to get her sword back. Or if she throws a sword and then immediately if you attack again, it pulls the sword back and she goes to attack again.
Yeah, supposedly she has a hold in her combo somewhere.
Yeah, I hate that animation
because I think that the main person I listened to, which is Majestic, he was complaining about the fact that she didn't feel very good. And that's what I was talking about. It seems like she's kind of iffy on how she plays.
That's all right, because if people don't like how they play, then guess what happens? They get the Zhongli treatment and they'll get super buffed. It will happen. It'll happen at some point. Of course, somebody will possibly find some way of kind of breaking her. I'm guessing it's going to rely heavily on boosting up her physical, because I know a lot of the release stats that people have, and of course this can all change with the actual release, is that she's very heavy physical. Her modifiers just shoot physical up, and I think she's crit damage based. Is her stat that raises on level?
It looks like possibly that's where you're gonna want to build her, but yeah.
No, I mean her leveling stat was it crit damage base?
I'm not sure. I just know that people were focusing on her crit rate or something like that.
Yeah, the little stupid Find the Rebel game got old really quickly.
I played it one time and I was like, I'm not done. I got 66 coins out of it, and I was like, I am not focusing that much time on it because half of them are at least 1,000 each, and I'm getting 66. Granted, I got caught really fast, so
Yeah, that was the thing. If you get caught really fast, you don't get really much anything. But if you like lose and somebody else wins, you get a pretty decent amount. If you win overall, you get like 500 and something. So I've won on once on each side. Rebel side win, but based on the idea that I was the only one left up. But yeah, it's just not. There's so many little mechanics that they have. It's like suddenly I know where you can get stuck in place, and they know exactly where you're at, and then it's like 3 seconds until it ends, and it's like, well, this is fun. This is totally fun. They just trapped me and rooted me in place and has a big old beacon on me. It's like, what am I supposed to do? I just lose.
Yeah.
How was that fun?
It started out, the person just summoned in, and he walks over right straight to me and then captures me. I was like, okay, I didn't even get to react to the fact that he came over towards me. I mean, I'm supposed to stay still so that he doesn't see me move, and then I'm caught. I mean,
that's the aspect of not knowing if they're gonna trap you or not, and you can. I've had times where they walk straight towards me and they walk over and they hit something else, and it's like, whew, okay, that was close. I mean, so it is fun in certain regards. Like I said, it's just the cheapness of the abilities is where it's like, why even bother? I stood here for 3.5 minutes just to have him use an ability and come over and hit me, and I just wasted, again, 3.5 minutes. Well, I didn't waste it because I still get points. But...
And then I just had to sit around for 5 minutes waiting for everybody else.
Whenever that happened, I would just walk around and try to find like really broken hiding places. There's a few of them that you can find, but yeah, like climbing on top of trees and just hanging on top of trees, which is, I think, kind of cheap on the opposite end, but because then you have to climb all the way up these tall, stupid trees just to see if somebody's up there. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's different, I guess. They're trying to make different stuff. Yeah. It's just, not being able to play with other friends. That's kind of like, why? Like, right. Why can't me and my brother go in there and play as rebels and we can, coordinate? Oh, yeah, that makes it too difficult for the hunter. Who cares? It's co-op. Have fun. I wonder if you could possibly game it by having us both join like exact same time. Like, what are the chances that we get in the lineup at the same time?
Who knows?
Possibility at work. Of course, any one of us would be the hunter, and I just run in there and look at where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's something to do together, and I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy 14 coming out. I think they said July.
Really?
It's soon.
14, yeah.
It's soon. Got the Reaper class, so we have a Persona class now. we have a Gundam class, and now we have a Persona class. So. Yeah, the watch the fan fest, and here's what happened. So like the day after the fan fest happened, I finally started watching. Right, I seen somebody talking about what happened at the later parts of the fan fest, so I went and I was checking out the YouTube replay on the fan fest, and I skipped all the way to the end, and I was just about to record. I think my Shadow House impressions, something. I was about to record something, and I'm skipping through this, and I get to the end, and I'm listening to them talking about how. Soken, the musical artist for the expansion, and he's been an artist for them for a while. He did like a lot of the things for like the Titans Extremes and all that kind of stuff. And they get to this part where they're talking about how they kept it a secret that Soken was diagnosed with cancer, during the time that the COVID stuff first started, and he was in the hospital being treated for cancer, and nobody could see him. And they were sending him materials for stuff they needed, and he's like, they're just saying that he's in the hospital for something else, and don't worry about it. And they kept it. I don't know. Maybe I don't even know if they knew that he was in the hospital. I know that Yoshi knew where he was at, but everybody else didn't know. He didn't want anybody to know. He just wanted them to send him what they needed. He wanted to keep working. He wanted a purpose while he was fighting this, and it's like they were just tearing up and breaking down on the stage. And this is a very rare thing. You don't really see many cases where, Japanese people publicly are very emotional. They usually try to keep that stuff behind doors. And to see all these people just kind of bearing it all on the stage and just crying, I'm like, holy crap, I gotta record something. I don't even be crying right now. And Soken's like talking about how he just wanted a purpose and he wanted something to work on and achieve, something to give him purpose in life. And they're just like, I'm just so happy to have our brother here. He's in remission, so he's doing better. And they're like, I wouldn't send you all these revisions if I knew that you were in, being treated for cancer. I feel so bad. He's like, no, don't worry about it. I wanted a purpose. And I was like, these people, I love these. that's something that's like very special. Is the team behind Final Fantasy 14 is just a very special team. Like you just don't see that kind of passion and that kind of openness to the fandom. It's absolutely incredible. It's like it's one of those things that makes me just love continuing to support the game because they're just great people.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting. Just not trying to get all red-eyed for a video. It's like, stop it. He's so bad because he like turns around. And you're like, I know why he's turned around. He doesn't want anybody seeing him sobbing. Oh, it's just so good. But yeah, that's been interesting. So yeah, now that Resident Evil's pretty much done, I'm debating my next thing. I'm tempted to go back to 13 Sentinels because I never beat that game and I really love it. I was thinking about going in and playing that Mario Chronicles. I still need to get started on that. I was thinking of doing that, but I don't know. I'm debating on my next game that I need to play because my fit in is Resident Evil and I need to replace it with something else.
You may need to do the first one first because that is the second part to the first one.
Is it?
Yep, it is direct sequel.
I don't know if I want to. I don't even know where I'm at in the previous one. If I didn't even want to continue,
I've thought about going back because I'm at the last or the last section, and when I got that,
was Vita,
I was like,
wasn't it? Wasn't it Vita?
No, it's on the Switch too. They're both on the Switch.
Yeah, but I have the Vita version.
That's not my fault.
I have to surgically correct the battery still on that thing.
But yeah, I when I bought it, I went back and looked at the other one, and because it's a direct sequel, and I was like, I don't know if I want it. Will direct sequel somehow. I just know that one is you're going after one female garment, and the other one you're going after the other female garment. So, and they made it sound like it's a continuation, almost a.
There's going to be some mind-bending twist that you have to know the previous one,
I'm
right?
sure.
Because the story is so incredible, Chris. I like that you're trying to save that. Like,
I don't know. I'm just like
you won't understand how important it is to get the pantsu when you didn't get the bras. I mean, come on, jeez, it's important. It's very important. I don't know. I have to admit that based on the pictures of the characters that I've seen in this one, I don't think they're as cute as the one in the first one. Like, I really liked a lot of the character designs in the first one. I don't know if they've changed character designers. I doubt it.
And they looked about the same to me. I mean, it is different.
The first one had a lot of characters in it that I'm like, oh, this one's really cute. I like this one. But, yeah, we'll see. Maybe it's something that's hidden. Maybe later stuff that I haven't seen pictures of. But yeah, like I said, I need to find another game. I might do Sentinels. I really need to finish that game. I was pretty far into it too, and it sucks. I guess I could technically replay the stuff, and I think they have like databases you can look in and stuff. But yeah, I need to go through it all again. But we'll see.
I'm wondering if I should go ahead and jump into your.
Don't jump in my stuff.
Your Final Fantasy VII remake.
Should.
I know the next one's
good.
coming up next year, beginning of next year.
Doubt it.
I know that there's announcements that are popping up on the list, so I've been curious about that.
They might talk about it in next year, but it's probably a 2023 release, maybe 2022. I don't know. They said they were working, and it's like one of those things where you hear certain people talk about it, and you kind of want to believe that they are pretty right on it. But it's like they said they were working on the second 7 remake during the first one, so it's like they're probably building assets and stuff like that, and you're technically using the same assets for the next part. It's just how big, and you're talking about leaving one location and going to multiple locations, so you assume it's going to take a lot more effort.
It's going to be breaking into the open world section, so it's like I wonder how much. I know that the assets are technically already pretty much built. It's just a matter of now expanding it to open world. And if you go based on did they announce that they were going to be doing 4 parts or 3 parts?
They haven't really said. I mean, I think there's a lot of speculation that it'd be 3, but they could do whatever they want technically. Well, yeah. If it's still cash cow and keep going, I mean,
I still think that they should incorporate the other parts into it. So, and it seems like you were kind of hinting that they did do that.
Yeah, they're already hinting at other things. Like they've made references to Dirge of Cerberus. They've made references to Advent Children. Technically, they've made references to a lot of things. So the door's open there. They're I think their goal in the end is to tie everything together. So, but that's I won't go any further. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna go any further than that. But no, it's yeah. I think it is definitely a must. The problem that I'm having is that I want to play the next Yuffie thing, and PS5s are still not available. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to avoid any kind of spoilers for that. I might just watch a stream of it, somebody playing it, because I don't think that there's gonna be any improvement on the PS5 availability anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime soon. There's reports saying that it won't be available even in through 2022. So it's like, PlayStation, you really need to get your act together and make a really good, viable way to avoid getting it to the wrong hands. I'll just say that. I don't know why it's taken this long, but they need to. Sell respectively. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is like that. I liked how they were doing the whole thing with selling it to PSN users. But it's like, how do they vet that? Do they vet how new the account is? Do they vet that it's actually a gamer that actually plays games and sells it strictly them? I don't know how that process works, but it's like, if that's still not enough, it's like, you got to figure something out, because the availability still sucks tremendously. And it sucks that they made that PS5 only. That still aggravates me.
So now that we've gone 30 minutes on video game side, anime side, I went ahead and caught up on Super Cub last night.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to have to say...
You hate it?
I love it.
You hate it.
I love it.
I knew that you'd hate it.
Chris
hates it.
I want to give some major shout outs. That was an excellently directed storytelling. It is a phenomenal mood, ambience, the storytelling of the by just the directing itself is fantastic.
Do you agree it has the same feel as a KyoAni?
Yes.
Like, it's that attention to detail and how it kind of immerses you. It's very kind of slow, but not, it doesn't feel slow. It just, you kind of get wrapped up in what she's doing. Like, even though she's doing mundane stuff, sometimes it's like, it's in the animation. Did you?
Yeah.
Like, that first opening segment was like, holy crap. Like, the finger work and everything is like, how good does this look?
And that's what I'm talking about. The directing and, I mean, all around is just phenomenal storytelling. Yeah. And I don't know how to...
5, though.
Huh?
I didn't care much for the 5th episode. It got really loud suddenly.
Like,
because punk rock riding up Mount Fuji is like, what is this? Why do you keep hitting gigantic rocks? Like, this is basic bike riding. You don't hit rocks. I don't know. I'll assume this because her vision is impaired. She's got a gigantic, crazy mountain bike helmet on. Obviously, she can't see much.
I don't know. Poor baby girl. She was trying. I don't know.
I like when the other girl did it. She's like, I'm going to let you slide with just that.
But yeah, I was absolutely floored by how much, how well that
I knew
that
you would
looked.
love it.
I did. You know, it warmed my heart to see her smile. I don't know. I kept my smile was getting bigger and bigger every time she had that little thing, and it was like, oh, you guys knew that I would just soak this show up.
It makes me afraid to ever kind of address why she's alone.
I don't think they'll do a bad job. They'll do
a bad job, but I'm wondering if they'll ever address it. And do they? I don't think they need to, but they've gotten into the other girl's backstory, so I assume they're going to get into her backstory.
They didn't really get into her backstory. I mean, just the fact that she was alone because she chose to. That's about the only thing that I caught off of it.
She left home, went on her own, started getting a job. I mean, that's a lot of backstory. I'll get to the point where she's at currently.
Yeah, but as far as, okay, did she, rebel against her parents or nothing like that? It didn't really say. So we'll see what all comes out of that. I doubt they'll get any more into her. The main girl, it'll be interesting to see what they do with her. If they ever do that. But I think that, like I said, the storytelling is so well done right now. I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah. It's so cute. Must protect that smile. Must protect that smile. What was the other one that I was telling you needed to get caught up on?
Tokyo Revengers and Pretty Boy is the other two that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, Pretty Boys is still fantastic. I'm sad they're not doing as much as I would want them to do with the characters, but it's just so well directed, and it puts a smile on my face. It's like the only Pretty Boy show where I just love the characters. Like, I just love all of them. But no, Tokyo Revengers is censorship. Yeah. This last episode wasn't censored, but they didn't really have anything to censor, so I'm still waiting to see how bad it's gonna get. I already said and this is what sucks. And somebody technically pointed out in the video, they're like, technically not watching is just gonna be a detriment to everything down the line. It's like, I agree with that. I don't really like the idea of just dropping it just because the fact that, but it's gonna be unwatchable. If you have an entire gang fight where everybody has jackets that are going to have this emblem on it, you're going to have an issue there. It's the Manji emblem, by the way, that those haven't seen my video. It's a religious symbol, and they're censoring the show because it looks like something which was essentially the Manji symbol perverted into World War II. But the Manji symbol is a religious symbol, and they're using it. They're not, bad. Well, they are bad people because they're gangster, but they're not the World War II people.
I thought it was interesting to see that it somebody had commented on the Western release may have been the consideration might have been for Germany, which I thought that was an interesting tidbit.
Or it's not. It's literally illegal. But yeah, that was the thing I was wondering is this the actual shape itself is not allowed there, which would make sense why the Manji symbol wouldn't be allowed there because it's a similar shape. But it's odd to me that the Manji specifically would be not allowed when it's not the same symbol.
Oh, I agree.
But I don't think that they care. It's just it looks like it.
And like you were pointing out,
make it only there that they don't have that version. There is a version which aired in Japan, so give us that and just give Germany the other one. So.
And where I disagree with you is I think that was an interesting the reason why I found that comment that commenter interesting was in the fact that it shifted my stance because I was talking to you and I was disagreeing on whether or not not necessarily that Crunchyroll in themselves had requested the censored version, but that they suggested, it is the way I was trying to explain it, is that maybe they suggested you may want to make a westernized version, but with the comment about whether or not Germany said that it's illegal to have that symbol, that made more sense.
Yeah, it's literally illegal.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Now, they may have went, oh, you can have this, and we've also got this censored version, and they may have went, well, we'll take the censored version because we don't want to deal with any of that problem either. But that's irrelevant. It's not saying that they actually did that. And now that comment was made, I understand it.
Yeah, it's literally like, and I don't know people's obsession with it having to be Crunchyroll's fault, because I went through so many videos and podcasts of people going, man, look what Crunchyroll did. They did this. And it's like, what is people's obsession with it being Crunchyroll's fault? There literally is zero sign that it was their fault. And there's only one sign that says it's literally not their fault. And that's their comment saying, this is what they sent us. We are literally not allowed to change this stuff. So the studio did it. The studio said this is what they sent. And the obsession with it having to be their fault, there's no sign whatsoever that's their fault. There's still an obsession with it having to be, and sadly, I'm not saying this is you. It sadly goes back to that aspect of people just wanting a reason to say, "Oh, this is why I pirate. This is why I pirate. It's Crunchyroll again. This is why I pirate." Whatever, you don't need to just go pirate. Who cares? You don't need to have a confirmation. This is why I do it.
Don't forget that we've been slapped in the face several times. I mean,
but there's no sign. Zero.
I'm fine. I agree with you. I'm
and
not.
It sucks that I'm the one that has to defend them, but it's like there's literally no reason.
I like I said, I gave them their props in the fact that now that I understand the whole thing with Germany. That's why I made such an emphasis on that. That comment made it make a lot more sense.
Not them saying we can't change anything.
Yeah. Now going on the giving a lot of leeway to the consumer, like I said before, we as a customer base have been slapped in the face so many times with the censorship crap. We're automatically going to be cynical about it and say, well, obviously it was Crunchyroll.
But reporting misinformation, I think, is not. I don't think that. And again, this is not you directly. It's really more the other people. That doesn't give the allowance to falsely report that something, literally saying Crunchyroll censored Tokyo Revengers. That's claiming that you have some kind of evidence that they did something when all the evidence is the reverse.
And that is true. And there's you if you don't know, and that's why I said I don't. Even when I was talking to you, I made an assumption that because it made sense in my head that, well, why wouldn't Crunchyroll do it? They stand on that kind of. Not necessarily that it's that they are in line with a group that does want that kind of stuff. They want to censor that stuff because of your sensibilities. It's going to make you an evil person because you have seen this evil thing that somebody in the past made it evil. And I agree. Because when you first mentioned that symbol, I automatically thought, well, of course they would, because nobody actually knows where the original. And then when you started bringing up the manji, I was like, oh, so somebody actually did talk about that? That's what makes me even more mad about it, because I know about the manji and how it was perverted by that group. So I do know that happens. And yes, I hate the fact that I have to censor because I know that we're going to be putting it on YouTube. So yes, it irritates me. I hate the idea of censoring myself. That makes me mad. I want to be able to talk normal.
But I danced around it so much in the video. It was so sad.
It irritates the crap out of me because even when you look at the symbols, I seen that you had put the two symbols on the screen next to each other, and one's literally a mirror of the other one.
I'm so surprised that it didn't say this is demonetized because of reason. Let me see. Click this timestamp. Oh, there it is.
And it's sad that anything that is perverted in some way, shape, or form is
issues there. There's two really significant issues there. And again, I understand the idea of, or I don't really understand, but I give lenience to the idea of them, basically making it illegal. But there's two issues here. One is that you're basically trying to erase history. This is a symbol that exists in history, and it's good to inform people. Even if they were technically using that on their jackets, the one from World War II, the perverted version of it, it still should not be censored. It should be informed at the beginning. This show has this emblem in it. If this is shocking to you, don't watch this episode. But it's more troubling the idea that they're trying to regain the manji symbol because they're trying to erase it. There's a group that's trying to erase manji symbols from Japan, and this feels like it basically supporting that concept when they should be able to reclaim it. That's like anybody listening to this. If you have, let's say you have a religious belief, no matter which one it is, no matter what religious belief you have, or say you like something that's very significant to you, and it's this one symbol, and say at some point in the future, somebody takes that symbol and perverts it and uses it to do something really incredibly bad and hurts a lot of people, or makes it, or does something very disgusting with it. Would you be okay with the fact that you no longer can have that in your hand? Like say for the Christian faith, somebody takes the cross and uses it in a very disgusting way, and then from then on, you're not allowed to have a cross with you, because if somebody sees it, they think, oh, that's the cross that person used when they did that really really bad thing that hurt a lot of people. You're not allowed to have it anymore. That's terrible.
They technically
to say
try
that
to do that
anybody
all the
can
time
take
anyway.
Yeah, well, it's a sad thing is we're in a society where somebody can take something, pervert it, and then nobody's allowed to have it anymore. That's terrible. That's like the OK symbol. It was a Reddit joke, and now you can't use it anymore. That's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible that somebody could make a joke out of it and you no longer have it anymore. You can't. And that's what's happening with the Manji symbol. They want to reclaim this thing, and then there's a group that's trying to erase it. And this is just an example of them doing that. They're erasing it.
And that's the frustrating thing is trying to
not saying them censoring it was them deliberately going, I want to erase the Manji symbol. Don't get me wrong there.
It's one of those frustrating things of trying to stay out of it for so long that people don't realize that in the course of trying to stay out of it, you end up getting dragged into it anyway because it's everywhere. Everything is up in the air right now, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah,
because you started trying to make people shut up, and what did you expect? People are not going to just sit down and do that?
Yeah, it's the question mark. If people, and that's like when I was making my video, it's like I don't really expect it to hit big. I would hope that it hit big. Not that I want it to hit big for a reason, but I wanted to get that message out there. I have to monetize it, otherwise it won't get suggested. So it's not the reason for monetization there. I need people to see this. I was hoping, some random chance somebody at Crunchyroll picks it up and goes, yeah, I mean, he's making a good point. Why don't we just make a stupid opening card that says this is what the Manji symbolism is, and it's not this other thing that you think it is. Let's air it everywhere else besides Germany. Why not? Why can't you educate rather than censor? Why can't we expect the viewer to be smart enough to go, oh, that's what it is?
Because we as viewers aren't smart enough to understand.
They can't trust us to be smart enough to learn.
Yeah.
We just want to go, oh, crap. And that would totally happen. Like, I fully expect that if they made an opening card that said, this is what the Manji symbolism, I gotta keep on saying symbolism. This is what this Manji symbol is. It's not this. If you're still offended, don't watch. You know that even if they did that, and then like 20 minutes later, somebody walks up on the stage with a jacket on with that symbol, what would end up on Twitter? Screenshot, oh my gosh, they have these bad people from World War II on here.
You don't understand. You don't understand. Just seeing that symbol will literally make you go out and mass murder people.
You don't obviously, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's just that it invokes badness.
Yeah,
it's the yellow, the color yellow. Whenever I see that light turn yellow, I just get angry when it hit things. I don't know. It's dumb. Everything's dumb in the world. That's the conclusion. Let's wrap everything up. What's the conclusion? Everything's dumb. But at least we have anime, even though dumb is being included in anime now.
No, we're slowly losing our animes too, so.
Yeah, we'll eventually lose the animes too. And then we'll just have to go back to watching the golden age of 90s. Isn't that right? Like, if we lose anime I think I said that at some point. If we get to that point, I think it was when we were first talking about Sony buying up all the companies. It was like, at that point, I said, literally, if they start destroying anime, I will just go back to watching 90s anime and watching 80s anime. There's a huge backlog there. Good thing I've bought quite a bit of it, so we got plenty of shows to watch. Still have to go through Space Brothers. Still got to go through all these light novels. So we still got something to work with until I get bored and die or something. I think I'm a prepper, and I'm the prepper in the area of anime. I'm making sure I buy as many stuff that I haven't read or watched as possible. That way, when it all goes downhill, don't worry, guys. I got content. I got stuff to watch.
We'll rent out the anime for like samurai swords and stuff like that, so that we can be Michonnes and just tear stuff up.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's
get a spiky bat so that I can be a Negan.
I don't know about that. Maybe that'd be a good option. It just doesn't break. It doesn't dull. It's a good option.
And no, I don't want to kill nobody, but I will kill people because I'm just dangerous like that. So don't come to my house unless you want to rent something.
See, now we're demonetized. Yeah, see, I wouldn't.
And, it's so silly because you have to if you watch enough of the zombie apocalypse movies, you start to understand that you have to give off this persona of I'm super dangerous, don't mess with me.
Right.
But inside you're technically kind of this Glenn character.
Not the coward. Not the coward. Not the coward. Never be the coward. Well, that was the thing is like I would never in a zombie apocalypse. It's cool. Like Michonne was cool, but it's like that's the worst weapon. A katana. That's literally the worst weapon. Like you're never gonna swing that fast enough. It's gonna cut. I mean, yeah, if something's like really like been decaying for a while, you might be able to slice through it, but it's gonna dull real quick. It's gonna break real quick. A bat.
That's gonna
that's a good option. A giant machete might break again, but it's still got a lot of weight to it. It's gonna last a while.
I still stand by the going bow weapon. I think that's the best.
Yeah, but you're gonna need to learn how to make some bolts and stuff.
Probably.
Otherwise,
I didn't say necessarily a compound or the
bolts or arrows.
Bolts. I would go with a regular old-fashioned bow and arrow because the crossbow has mechanical parts that causes problems. Bow, less mechanical parts, more chance
still have
that
a string
it'll last.
and the wood itself can still break after a while. Bat,
less mechanical parts. That's pretty nice though.
Bat, I think is the option. I think bat's good. Now
I don't know that you necessarily have to have barbed wire on it.
Well, that's for the living.
Yeah,
the barbed wire is for the living because technically, the barbed wire is kind of you're gonna get stuck on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna like you hit a zombie in the head, it's gonna get stuck. You're gonna try not to pull it out. Something else is gonna grab on you and bite you. I mean, it's unless you have two.
How the hell did we end up in this section?
I don't know. Oh, there was a whole prepper thing with the anime for the zombie apocalypse apparently that's coming that Chris randomly brought up. It's like I'm talking about like the idea of anime going downhill and having stored content to watch, but you're like, yeah, suddenly we're zombies. Or just people coming to steal your stuff.
Because everybody automatically associates post-apocalypse with zombie apocalypse. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I love zombie apocalypse. I'm all
It's either
about
that or
it.
aliens. Could be
Aliens seems like it's only a matter of time.
The zombie apocalypse is like you have a fighting chance. I mean, they're slow. You can hit them.
Unless they're 28 days zombies.
Yeah, that's true.
They're crazy.
They're slow enough. There's a limited number. You take the base of population. Unless you find out they can swim, you can basically narrow it down to a continent. You know what you're dealing with. With the aliens, it's like, no, you're just screwed. If they figured out how to get here, they probably know how to shoot us better than we know how to shoot them. It's like offer them anime and hope they don't kill you. Just to show them a cute anime girl and say, I can offer you this. Would you like me to inform you?
I think aliens would probably get mad at us for our anime.
They probably like BitTorrent everything with
You think so?
lightning fast internet connection.
They probably have.
They probably have more
internet.
content than I have. They probably were able to speed watch it too. It's like they just turn it on at like 100 speed and they're like, oh, that was a great story. Where are we going with this?
I don't know. We're in an interesting realm though. It's kind of fun.
Is that the title? Alien Speed Watch Anime at 100 speed?
Great title.
Alien Speed Watch my anime. Alien Speed Watch my censored anime. Reclaiming the Manji symbol. That's will be the title. Yeah, we do have news, and we literally are down to like an hour on our usual length time, so I guess we should probably get through. There's some really good news this week, so that's really good. Our first bit we have is Visual Arts Key Brand has announced they have a new crossover anime that will be airing in the October month. Actually streaming, not airing. That's different wording there. The crossover is going to include popular series from Key, including Kanon, Air, Clannad, Little Busters. Yeah, also rewrite. I don't know why they said popular and then rewrite, but that's a thing. Well, they did list the visual novels. I don't know. Maybe the visual novel is a lot better than the anime was, but they also said there's a chance that more stuff will be included as well. But yeah, what do you think of a crossover? It looks, I mean, based on the artwork, it's supposed to be chibi versions, I guess. So they're going with the chibi.
Oh, trying to capital thing. Yeah, trying to cash in on the chibi comedy bits. any excuse to have more key stuff. So I don't know that.
Do you have like an episode where they all like compare each other's like tragic histories and tragic stories? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna die soon because of this curse. Oh well, I'm gonna die soon because I'm already dead.
That would be pretty on the nose. That's some brilliant writing there. If they actually do something silly like that.
Would that? I don't know. Would they do that? I mean, because it technically discredits the joke. I mean, technically crossovers like that, you're technically going to joke about your own content. They're going to joke about something and related to their story, but it's like, would they get that dark with the humor? I don't think they would do it. I don't think they would do it, but it would be great.
And that's what I was saying. That's pretty brilliant writing if they actually go with that kind of a joke, but that's very on the nose. And you would
who's the better
somebody commenting on that would be more likely to point out something silly like that, but themselves, I don't know that they would necessarily do that to themselves. But that is if they're good at making fun, making jokes, then they would be able to make a joke about themselves like that. That would be an excellent. So
the only struggle that I have with watching, because I mean, of course, a lot of the humor is going to be based on the visual novels themselves, and I think most of the adaptations have done probably done a very well job of kind of covering the bases for most of the story. My only concern is rewrite, because technically the rewrite that we watched was kind of like a spin-off story based off the visual novel, so I think that's going to be the only one we're going to miss the jokes on, if anything. But I don't plan on reading the visual novel anytime soon, so that's cool though. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I'm not sure exactly if they've listed who the studio will be. I don't think they have. So, we'll see. Hopefully Kyoto Animation. Probably not, though. Maybe they'll use the studio that does all the Overlord and the Isekai Quartet and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. That'd be all right. I'd like them to do it. All right, moving on. We have Tatsuku Karasuma announced that they would on Twitter that No Gun's Life manga is going to end with its 13th volume. So, fans of No Gun Life, that is coming to a conclusion. At least the manga is. The official website for Knights of Sidonia, the Star Where Love is Spun film, has posted a video that includes the first 4 minutes of the film. So, if you are excited for the Knights of Sidonia film like me, definitely go check that out. I'm still every time I hear about news about the film, I go back and forth on whether I'm happy about it or not, because obviously it is doing a new story, but at the same time I kind of wanted them to finish adapting the original story. So it is what it is. I don't know. I'm mixed. I watched a little bit of the clip. It just kind of looked like a headstrong kid was running out there, and then suddenly main character shows up and saves him. But it looks good. So we'll see. Still has cut frames, but that's technically what they do. Sentai Filmworks has licensed Ra X Cephon. I don't know how to say that. I think it's Ra Cephon anime, and is planning to release it on Blu-ray in a steelbook form on July 20th. I don't know how I feel about the whole steelbook stuff that they're doing. I like steelbooks, but they're really expensive. And I don't know that I guess, I don't know if they're planning on doing just a regular Blu-ray release, or if they're only going to do steelbook. My other problem is the steelbook is they don't do pages. Like, they did a steelbook of Clannad, and I was like, oh man, I would love a Clannad steelbook. And then I looked into their steelbooks, and they stack their CDs. And I'm like, nah. And it's Blu-ray, so it's less likely to scratch. Like, I got a Sakura Wars, like one of the first releases they did with this complete Sakura Wars thing, is they literally put a whole bunch of DVDs stacked on one spindle inside the box. And I'm like, this is terrible design.
And it's
so Blu-ray does that better because it doesn't scratch as much when they connect, and if there's a dust or something between the discs, it's going to scratch if they rotate. But still, I don't want stacked CDs.
What's really kind of frustrating is when I first heard of DVDs, I remember the guy trying to sell it to me, and he took a DVD, threw it on the ground, and he stomped on it and rubbed it around to try and prove that they were they were less of a chance of scratching. Now, I don't know if the technology when they went to start
scratching versus what?
Huh?
Scratching versus what?
Vinyl.
Oh.
At the time, it was kind of the point was that it was
or
it
DVDs
was
versus CD-ROMs.
It might have been. I don't remember. The whole point was that what I was getting ready to say is something changed when they started mass producing DVDs, and my fear is that Blu-ray might do that at some point as well. So, yeah, while it's protected, technically DVDs were supposed to be protected as well.
Yeah, that's true. But I wasn't sure.
Might have been
Laserdisc.
It might have been Laserdisc.
Oh, freaking Laserdisc!
I don't remember. I just remember. I just remember that the guy did that to prove that it was supposed to be more durable.
Yeah, and it also relies heavily on like the player and all that kind of stuff. There's so many variables, and I've only found with Blu-rays that I don't have any issues whatsoever. But yeah, I can see it being an issue that will eventually get where it's less. I don't know. Is it like just maybe a lack of coding, something like that? That maybe they cut back on coding, and maybe that was mass production cause issues. It's just like I said. I don't trust the DVDs, and I'm similar with that. I don't really even trust Blu-rays. I like to have that. I like to take that issue and just prevent it completely. And don't worry about them stacking. They don't scratch, but I would rather them not touch each other. That way they don't have to worry about later on that being an issue.
And even there, I mean, shoot, we were using Sharpies on the back of the CDs for years, and it's like, okay, then suddenly somebody revealed that, okay, that actually eats up your foil. Okay, so what the heck is the? I mean, if you stop and think about it, what the heck is how are you storing this information? It's supposed to be magnetic, but the scratches causes a problem, and you can't actually use an acid-based stuff on the back because that eats through the foil. So where is this information being stored?
It's on the foil, but like with the scratches on the bottom, it's just reflection. I mean, if you think about the idea, you're causing this different, directional refraction. If it goes to read something, it's going to be messed up. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Anyways, I just want them separated. Conclusion: separate discs. Don't stack them. I would imagine with this one, unless they do like an SD Blu-ray, I don't know if they're going to do a remaster on it. It doesn't say if they're going to do any kind of remastering and HDing of it, so I'd assume they're just going to do a SD Blu-ray release of it, maybe, question mark. So maybe it doesn't really even need multiple discs. It's only 26 episodes too, so
I don't care. I really don't. I don't see any changes until we get to the 500p or 500 million kp things. Then we'll start actually having some kind of storage thing that will probably be a little bit protective of information.
What's a 500 kp?
500 million kp. When they finally stop actually up-resing everything and they finally actually start focusing on storage. Yeah.
I don't see... even 4K, I don't really see any purpose to it.
I don't either.
Honestly.
But you do know that we're going to be going up at some point to 8K, and then we'll get to 16K, and...
It's got to be some sweet spot between 1 and 4. I've heard a lot of people say 1440 is the sweet spot, but it's like 4K is too much, and I know that 1K feels lacking. Or 1080p.
I've been pretty much happy with 1K or 1080. I do understand the appeal of the 4K, but at the same time, at some point, the pixels are going to be too small for you to really get anything out of it. So are you going to keep pushing? When are we going to get to refresh? Is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I wish
whatever sells a television, Chris. Whatever sells a television.
Yeah.
They will keep increasing it, and we will keep having standards go, oh, well, I guess we have to increase it again. But like I said,
and what's sad is that now we're actually going back to real, what is it? Real, where they're actually storing information based on the actual negative instead again. So we're going backwards to go forward. You guys realize you're missing something somewhere.
Yeah, going back to negatives, pulling the raws and stuff. Yeah. Like I said, because I know that 1440 is like literally dead center between 1080 and not necessarily. It's not technically 4K. It's like 2500 or something like that. It's not. The 4K is the other distance. So it's like 1080 to 1920. It's that double that 1920. That's the 4K measurement. So it's not necessarily 4 times as much resolution. It's like, oh yeah, nice little trick there. I remember when they did that with plasma. Remember they said the refresh rate was like insane amounts, and then you find out that it's only because it's adding up the 4 panels within the plasma. It's not really that refresh rate. It's just 4 panels of that refresh rate in one panel.
Well, they tried to do that with the Jaguar as well.
Oh yeah, Jaguar.
64-bit.
Yeah. It's like, shut up. Well, that was the annoying thing, is like when I was, doing a lot of computer stuff for, the public, it was like I had to keep explaining that kind of crap. And it's like, please stop making false advertisements so I have to sit there and explain that. Do you realize how amazingly difficult it is to explain somebody, refresh rates on a plasma screen? Do you know how difficult it is to explain that something is not technically 64-bit in a Jaguar? You make these crappy false advertisements that poor tech people have to explain to people so they don't go, I heard that there's this crazy new 4K television. I need to get that right. It's like, hold on, just let's explain what you're doing here, and then you can decide from there. Let's go back.
I can't wait for the moment that we realize that we left something back in the tube screens, and we need to go back to tube screens for whatever reason.
I'm surprised that people don't make those, just because of like, especially right now with the retro gaming stuff really blossoming right now, is you got to expect there's somebody out there like, hey, maybe I should start, manufacturing those. But there's the whole, chemicals and regulations that are involved with that I'm sure I'm not even sure if you can probably manufacture them anymore, just because of all the regulations that would be put into play after. Because I remember like there's like so many, like if you drop one of those screens, you have to be careful not to inhale any kind of dust coming out of it. It's not a very, chemically not sound thing. I don't know. Anyways, side tangent again. We're not even done with our news. We got so much news to go through, Chris. I'm actually excited about this next one. Studio 3 Hertz has announced a new original TV series. It's called Healer Girl. Apparently, the director for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood will be doing it, which is Yasuhiro Ire. It apparently is taglined a bold new form of music healing animation. The anime depicts the world of healer girls, high school girls who cure people with singing. But I thought it was really interesting that the tagline of a bold new form of musical healing animation. So like Yashike healing anime.
We'll see.
Like the way they're putting it is like that this is what they're going to be doing here is a healing animation. Not that the story is about a healing animation. It's that this production will be a healing anime. So Yashike-ish, but in like a musical form. I'm very curious about it. I don't like musicals. We had one. What was that one recently that was actually a musical anime, or it was an anime about singers, and it had one of your favorite seiyus was singing in it too.
Oh, Natsumi.
But essentially, it was a healing, or it was a show about singing,
right, in
like a fantasy setting.
Well, so, I was also thinking of the Soundless as well, the one where they were
oh yeah, I know
Jimi Hendrix's girl or something like that. And that one was kind of.
Oh, I'm like, I thought you were talking about a different show, and then like Jimi Hendrix. So I'm like, okay, never mind. We're talking about a different one. Never mind. Sorry.
And that one was all right. The one that you're talking about, yes, that was good. It is frustrating that they didn't hit on it as much as they could have. That one ended up. I mean, she was practically singing the same songs, Sound of the Wind or Song of the Wind or something like that.
Lost Song.
Lost Song?
Yeah.
No, she sang a song that was about the wind. Kaze.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, they had that. Each side had their own one. The other one was Listeners. Yeah, that's
Listeners.
No. No.
And the frustrating
they
thing,
had themes of music, which was great, but it wasn't really a musical.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen an anime where they full on go musical. Even the Idol shows, the last School Idol one.
I want to say the 18IF did an episode that was a musical. I might be wrong. On that one, but I thought they did.
Yeah, they toss it in here and there.
Yeah, a lot of animes like to do like the spin-off or joke episodes where they
they'll do a musical in there.
It's usually rap battles. Usually rappers.
But it is a fun idea. I thought the same thing. I thought it was worded really funny when I had previewed the outline, and I was like, that seems oddly worded. Is it an anime about a healer, or is it an anime of healing music or something like that? So it's strangely worded. So we'll see.
Yeah, the characters look cute. I like the character designs. So we'll see. But like, it's an original. Andrew's going to be excited for it. So yeah, it's a given that I'm going to be jumping on top of that. And Three Hearts has been doing some good stuff. So we'll see. The Great Jahi will not be defeated anime. We talked about this getting an anime adaptation. Well, apparently they have confirmed that it will be a 2-core release. So starting in July, which means that it will run until obviously the end of the year. It's going to be a half-year run. So I'm all for that. Nothing wrong with that. Tan girl, best girl, fun stuff. Hopefully a solid comedy. We'll see though. Who was a studio that was working on it? Silverlink? Yeah, Silverlink. So, good stuff. More AT&T news. Could never get away from AT&T news. Apparently, they are to spin off Warner Media and merge it with Discovery. So, that's kind of an interesting move to make following essentially what we talked about last time, where the Justice Department was extending the antitrust review for the deal where Sony was going to buy Crunchyroll and related aspects. So yeah, so apparently, I don't know, I guess this may be a response to that. This is a interesting sign that possibly, in my perspective, I'm not a lawyer or anything, my perspective is seeing that they probably seen this extension, are assuming at this point that it might not happen, and so they're trying to essentially adjust things around despite that. Like I mentioned before, technically these deals aren't done until, all these, the Justice Department, everything okays it for obvious reasons. And so they're going to continue functioning as they normally would, assuming it won't happen, I guess, is what I would assume. So,
yeah, I thought they were getting rid of Warner Brothers.
No,
when I read it in there, it was worded differently than what I had read earlier. So it's odd because it sounded like they were getting rid of Warner Media when I was getting previews of it earlier.
The companies AT&T and Discovery confirmed on Monday that AT&T would spin off Warner Media, which would then merge with Discovery under a new management. Discovery President and CEO David Zaslav, sorry, I'm butchering your name, would lead the new company. AT&T and Discovery aim to complete the transaction mid-2022 if Discovery shareholders and regulators approve the deal. So yeah. So is Discovery not a part of AT&T? I thought Discovery was a part of AT&T.
Disney is its own animal. That I do know.
Where'd you get Disney?
Or I thought you asked about Disney.
No, Discovery.
Or Disney was in the list. Discovery.
Is Discovery not a part of Warner or AT&T? I thought it was a branch of AT&T.
I thought is Discovery part of a branch of AMC?
Yeah, AT&T. They're probably the same thing. I don't know.
I didn't know that there's only really 6 media companies. So
my main point is the idea that this shows signs that they are still going to be deciding on things because they still need to function normally, despite that possible buyout that's probably not going to happen at this point. It could still happen. I'm happy that it's not happening, but that's just from my perspective, not wanting to be under one umbrella. And I think that's why the Justice Department is looking at it so much, is that they know that this is going to make pretty much one big monopoly for Western buying of Japanese properties. So I think it's a good move, but that's just me. So, yep, that's happening. We'll update you guys in the next couple weeks with our our regular AT&T Crunchyroll updates. It seems to be an ongoing thing that we have to do a talk about it every single episode. So yeah, interesting stuff. Let's see here. Mamoru Hosoda's new film, Bell. Apparently, they have released a trailer for this new film from Mamoru Hosoda and Studio Chizu's film Bell, The Dragon and the Freckled Princess. And it's going to be opening on July 16th in Japan. I was excited to see in some other news that apparently Kinjiro Suda, my man crush, is going to be in the series, or the movie, so that's exciting. I don't know that we've even talked about this show or this movie on the podcast yet, because I don't recognize anything about it. So I'm like, if I don't recognize anything about it, that means that we haven't talked about it in the news podcast, because that's about the only time that I actually look in the news is when we do the news podcast for other people.
Yeah, we definitely haven't talked about it, because we haven't heard anything since his last one, which was the big sister and the little brother. And I don't even think we've seen that movie yet.
No, we haven't watched that one yet. The story is our protagonist, Suzu, is a 17-year-old high school girl who lives in the countryside of Kochi Prefecture with her father. After losing her mother at a young age, she loves singing with her mother more than anything else, but a result of her mother's death, she was no longer able to sing. It wasn't long before she and her father grew more and more distant from each other. Suzu closed off her heart and the rest of the world. When Suzu felt that writing music was her only purpose and left in life, she then discovered the massive online space known as You. So we're going back to Summer Wars here. He has a fascination with that, where she takes on her persona Belle. Another me, another reality. We are no longer limited to a single world. I think that's about all I want to read there, because I think movies, you kind of spoil stuff with synopsis. But yeah, I think my only pause that I have for this movie is that the persona looks very awfully familiar. And I definitely realized it when I seen the second news bit about Kinjiro Suda working in it. Apparently the character artist for like Frozen and Tangled did the character design for it, and I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like every single other Frozen character design that you would see. I don't know. I don't like it, but it doesn't ruin it. It still looks beautiful, but yeah. I'm like, ew, gross. Don't get your Disney in my anime. Don't get your Disney in my anime. Keep your Disney character designs out of my anime. So I'm sorry. That's just me. It's okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the Frozen characters look good, so
I just think they look samey. This is coming from a person that watches anime where everything looks samey. But hey, I acknowledge when things look different. All right. And typically with a lot of Mamoru Hosoda stuff, they have a very unique character designer, so you're typically very soft, which is very contrasting because they, zero lips and suddenly out of nowhere gigantic lips. But it is what it is. So yeah, July in Japan. Hopefully, it won't take long to get over here, so we can check out Mamoru Hosoda's next work. Excited.
Yeah. I always end up excited about his stuff. So
yep, cool stuff. And the fact that Kinjiro Suda's in it, it's always good too. So we did talk about how Komi Can't Communicate possibly getting an adaptation based on a website that was licensed. Well, now we do have a confirmation, so I can say without a doubt it is coming. But yeah, Komi-san Can't Communicate manga is getting an anime adaptation. It is going to be airing in October, so be super excited. I think they're doing a good job with the character designs in the anime, at least the trailer that we have. I don't shy about the fact that I don't care much for the character designs of Komi Can't Communicate, the manga, but I think they're doing a job of adapting it So, yeah. Excited?
Yes, actually, I am.
Yeah. You checked any of the manga out?
No, that's like I said before. It's one that I've meant to several times because I know that it pops up on my feeds a lot. So,
Yeah. Let's see. The official website for Made in Abyss has announced that this series will get a second season in 2022 called Made in Abyss Retsu Jitsu no Yongongkyo, which is Made in Abyss, The Sun Blazes Upon the Golden City. It's just a year away. So far away. I know we had a movie to kind of tie us over, but that's too far away. The key art looks amazing. And so a year away. Watch is going to be like late 2022 also. We're not going to be around by then. It's just all going to be over before it even comes out. The other weird thing that came out from this announcement is they actually Spike Chunsoft has announced they are making a video game for Made in Abyss, which I don't know that Spike Chunsoft is one I would go for an action RPG, but I don't know. We'll see. It could work out. I mean, it shows like climbing and stuff like that, so I'm really curious if it's going to be very kind of adventure and exploration focused, which I think will work really well for Made in Abyss. I would really like something that have like it doesn't necessarily have to go by the story, but kind of covering the idea of going down and exploring, watching out for bad things, collecting materials and treasures and stuff like that. I think Made in Abyss itself is so well suited to make a really cool adventure game, but I don't know how well the mechanics and everything will work out being Spike Chunsoft, but that typically is what happens with anime game adaptations, is we usually get not the best studios to work on these things, unfortunately.
It was kind of funny. I was getting ready to, for sure I was getting ready to end up having to disagree with you. I think that Made in the Abyss is absolutely perfectly suited for a video game now.
Oh yeah, it is. Just
whether or not I don't know. Spike Chunsoft, what other stuff have they done? I know I've played games by them before.
Like visual novels and stuff.
Is it usually visual novels?
Yeah. Not crazy action games. But like I said, it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see how they do with it. I mean, I don't. Again, it just depends on how much the focus is on it being action RPG. Is it have to be like, oh wow, we have to do crazy combos and stuff, or is it just going to be it's action RPG because you just go up and hit stuff? That's fine. They'll do fine with that, as long as you focus on the mechanics in the world and the exploration. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be, Platinum Games making the thing. I don't need crazy Platinum game action. I mean, I would like it. I mean, it would be cool to see them, run out there and shoot his arm out and grab something from a mile away and fling towards it and do crazy combos and flame attacks. But
it's kind of sad because we can say such and such story is perfect for a video game, and yet anytime somebody tries to do an adaptation of a story into a game, they never pull it off at all.
No, not typically. Overlord Anime has confirmed to get a 4th TV season anime project, and they also announced they're going to be doing a film project. The wording on this is really weird. It says that it's got a 4th season coming, and then it's got a film that is coming as well, covering the Holy Kingdom arc. So I'm guessing that's saying that the film is going to cover the Holy Kingdom arc, and then the 4th season is something else. But either way, I'm super excited. Hopefully the film doesn't take too long to come out. I mean, that's kind of like the similar problem that we have with the Farewell, My Dear Crammer. It's like they have a film and then the anime, and it's like, okay, cool, but we can't get the film yet, but the anime's coming out. We can't watch it. So hopefully the film's after the 4th season so that we can watch the movie, or that we can watch the season, and then like in a year we'll get the film, we can watch the film, and then in a year we'll get the 5th season. So the time it takes them to get us the film, we'll have a nice little gap there for the next season. So yeah, I don't think it'll take too long for them to get the film over here, because I know that there's a There's a huge fandom for Overlord, so I don't expect anybody sleeping on that, but we'll see. Let's see here. Toei Animation has finally confirmed a lot of the rumors coming out about Dragon Ball Super getting a sequel, and it is a film. So another one we have to wait a long time for. Again, I don't think they're going to lax on a film for Dragon Ball, but they said that the film is going to be in development for 2022, and they said specifically that there's an unexpected character that will be appearing in it, or possibly appearing in it. So please don't be Frieza again. I'm sick of Frieza. It's like we don't have to keep bringing Frieza into the mix. I had fun with Frieza in the later parts of Super, but let's just stop the Frieza thing already.
It'll be future Gohan.
This future Frieza. How much more future do you need of Gohan? Like old man Gohan?
Probably.
Saint Seiya old man Gohan. Yeah, it's like future Gohan, and he's like super like edgy boy. Because obviously something happens in the future where everybody dies again. And he's coming back to the past to keep that from happening.
Well,
it's an evil evil Vegeta.
Well, it's got to be future Gohan because Trunks went back and since Gohan is now, his life is now saved. Wait, I'm spoiling all kinds of crap, huh?
Yeah, but that's parallel worlds. I don't know. Yen Press has announced that they have started a new imprint for audiobooks called Yen Audio. So that's really fantastic. They already announced quite a few things that are going to be working on, including Solo Leveling Volume 1, Sword Art Online Volume 1, Overlord, Solo Leveling 2, Sword Art. I guess it's really just Overlord, Solo Leveling, Sword Art Online, The Miracles of the Namiya General Store, Saga of Tanya the Evil. So a lot of that stuff's going to be releasing, July going into the rest of the year. So it looks like a very huge spread in content, but that stuff technically takes a lot of time to put together. But hopefully they can speed up the releases going forward. But currently it looks like it's a little bit slow.
It's easily one of those things that I've been pointing out. This is something that they need to do for a long time, and now that they're actually doing it, people are starting to go away from Amazon, and this is what sucks. It really does. I don't see Amazon. I don't see that boycott happening anytime soon. But if it does, it's gonna be a massive hit, and that's what really sucks about it is these companies, when we point these things out, they don't. I wish they would listen and get the clue when we point it out, so that stuff like this, like if the Amazon boycott does happen, these people don't get the backlash on it. I know I'm not making sense.
I have zero sense.
If there is an Amazon kind of boycott that does actually take hold, and it actually does affect the audiobook problem, if that does that backlash ends up hitting Yen Audio, when we've been pointing out that they needed to do this a long time ago, if Amazon gets hurt and they get hurt in tow because of that, then they're going to decide, oh, well, people don't want audiobooks.
Well, that's saying that Yen Audio is going to be on Amazon exclusively. Wouldn't Yen Audio be on their app? Why would they use Amazon?
If they put it on Amazon, they have a contract stuck with them. That's what a lot of these these young authors who are trying to boycott Amazon are pointing out. They can't get their books back off of Amazon. Once they put it on, or once they put the audiobooks up there, they can't put it out for a certain amount of time.
So that's the thing. They don't really mention where their books are available. Well, can't find out because the first one's releasing in July, so it's quite a ways away. This is kind of early stuff, so we'll find out where they're actually going to be publishing it. I don't know that it would be. I would assume that it would be releasing on their app, not Amazon. But I guess in order to get it out there for more people, they may do that. So who knows? All right. Cool stuff. For fans of Welcome to the NHK, apparently they're making a sequel novel. So that's apparently something that's coming back. But yeah, Tatsuhiko Takimoto has written a sequel for the series. So if you're excited for that, definitely keep an eye out for that. But I still need to, get to the first one. So it's like one of those, that's my prepper stash. It's like I really want to watch that, but it's like I never do. I'll get around to it eventually. When the zombie apocalypse happens, I'll get into it. So don't get mad. My Senpai is Annoying apparently is still happening. I think we talked about that getting an adaptation like a year or two ago, but apparently that is debuting in October. So super, super cool. Super cool.
We need to get a generator so that when we do have when the zombie apocalypse. You said the zombie apocalypse.
Focus, Chris.
I was thinking about how it'll be nice to actually catch up on a lot of this stuff when the zombie apocalypse comes, but we're gonna have to have a generator. We need
just generator. A mouse wheel.
We'll put Yuki on the mouse wheel. We can do it.
I don't know. She doesn't need to lose weight. You need to put your dog on it. Your dog needs to lose weight. Chubby little waddling dog.
She's a princess. What do you expect?
It's bad. 10th anniversary event for Puella Magi Madoka Magica has revealed a new film. Geki Joban Maho Shoujo Madoka Magica Walpurgis no Kaiten. Turning the tide for the Walpurgis. I know I'm butchering that name. I'm even trying. I'm sorry. But yes, apparently they're going to make a sequel for Madoka Magica following the events of, obviously, the third movie, Rebellion. Jin Ibuchi and many of the staff members from the previous film are on board again, including, of course, Shaft. It's exciting stuff. I've joked about this several times, and I dance around it, obviously, for spoiler reasons, but I hope they don't do a flip back again. I don't want another flip. Please don't do another flip, Jin Ibuchi. Just conclude it, please, somehow. That's my only.
And I pointed out the fact that immediately when Andrew stated that, and I said, they're going to have to do a flip.
No, Chris, stop.
That's the only way that they can do it.
No more flips.
It should be the final flip, honestly.
No more flips.
It would be natural for them to have to do that. It's kind of a yin-yang thing, and they've been doing that for the entirety of the story. So
No more.
It's the only way for it to be balanced is they have to accept the yin and the yang in themselves.
That's true. That's true. You have to have yin yang. Too much of we doing the back and forth. You need the yin yang. I agree with you, Chris. Very much so. Just put a stop to it.
They have to have their balance. They have to have their balance.
Or just kill them all, Jen. Just kill them all.
Like I said, it's only natural that they do one more to finalize and become balanced.
No more.
That's the point.
No more flips. In other Magical Girl news, we have a confirmation for a third Yuki Yuna is a hero anime. I'm super happy. I'm super, super happy. The official website for Yuki Yuna is a hero franchise unveiled an October premiere for the third season. This is going to be the Great Full Blossom arc. So now I will admit, I think the later seasons was a little more meh, but I'm hopeful they'll bring it back and do a solid third season. So. Super happy. I want my Yuki Yuna back. I miss her. Apparently, Bandai... See, because it goes back and forth so much, it messes my head. Bandai Namco has announced that Tales of Arise will release on September 10th in the West. So apparently that's finally getting a release. This is what sucks, honestly, about Genshin Impact. Is anime modeled games like the Tales series, they have to step it up. Like Genshin Impact, just the visuals and the character designs, the character animations, these other companies got to step it up. Get that quality up.
Yeah.
So.
And then the musical production is absolutely phenomenal. So
yeah. Good music, visuals, character animations, all that stuff. I hope that this, very based on the trailer, I haven't really looked into. I don't think I've really had anything to look into for Tales of Arise since like they talked about it like last year. But I don't know. The story's not really grabbing me too much. 4 years ago.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it does. It had a really cool like trailer that like really was like, holy crap, this looks amazing. This trailer that they released now is like, not really getting me. So hopefully, I don't know. I'll probably still play it. Even though I never finished Tales games recently. I haven't finished a Tales game since Cilia, the first one. The second one really bummed me out, and I haven't really finished any since then. But yeah, I'll probably still buy it and still play it. But trailer isn't really getting me too much, so we'll see.
I haven't touched one since Symphonia, so
that's a good one. It's a good one to leave off on. It's a real good one. Vesperia you still need to play, though. Vesperia was good. Let's see here. Exciting news for Chris. We have Restaurant to Another World is getting a second season. Apparently, it's being the studio is being replaced by OLM, which was replacing Silverlink. But they do have a second season coming, so exciting.
Sounds fun.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Let's see here. Fantasy Bishoujo Juniko Oji-san To manga is getting a TV anime. This manga story begins with a 32-year-old unpopular salaryman is transported alongside his handsome friend to a fantasy world due to the whims of the naked goddess. While his friend is being transported without change, the salaryman now has the body of a beautiful girl. To get the male body back, he must go on an adventure with his friend to defeat the world's demon lord. And then hentai happens, I guess. It sounds like the opening to a hentai.
Yeah, it does.
It's a gender swap kind of thing. So, yeah, it looks funny. Could be a solid one. Hopefully, yeah, that sounds fun. We'll see. Cool news for Sailor Moon fans. Apparently, Netflix announced that it will be streaming the 2-part Pretty Guardians Sailor Moon Eternal, the movie, worldwide on June 3rd. So, don't have to wait for theaters. Don't have to wait an increasingly long time for a Blu-ray release for us to actually get to watch it. It'll be on Netflix.
That's awesome.
So, good news for those that want access to it quickly. Bad news for physical owners because we don't know if somebody else is going to get the physical rights. But we'll see. I'm sure somebody will eventually. But I do like that idea. I think honestly, if I could request anything from Netflix, is to keep doing this kind of stuff. Find those movies, grab them from Japan, and get them streaming worldwide ASAP. And I would keep sub to you for that alone. I think Netflix is built for that kind of stuff. So it's probably not very profitable at all. So, but that's the thing. Like when Funimation buys a movie, what are they looking for profits for? Theater tickets. What would Netflix, when they buy a movie, what are they looking for? People to stream, people to get subscriptions, people to watch, keep their eyes on their channel. So I think it's perfect for Netflix. Cool stuff though. I think that's a cool move on their part. But yeah, cool news for accessibility for Sailor Moon fans. I'll just say that accessibility. Let's see, Kakeru Kobashiri, the writer of Grimoire of Zero. Their new light novel series, The Dawn of the Witch, is getting a TV anime. So cool stuff there. We kind of liked Grimoire of Zero. Had a really cool idea to it. Kind of got a little bogged down for me later on, but we both enjoyed it. Wish they had more. What's the synopsis on this one? Set in the same fantasy world as Grimoire of Zero. Now at peace after having endured a conflict between the church and the witches for 500 years. However, embers of the war still burn in the region of the world. The story centers around Saville, a hopeless student at the Kingdom of something College of Magic. Saville has somehow lost all memory of this time before attending college. The school's headmaster, Albus, sends him for special training to the southern part of the continent where persecution against witches runs strong. It's not a very grabby synopsis, but there you go. There you go. That's cool artwork, though. But that's technically their stuff. So Sentai Filmworks said that it has acquired digital rights for My Little Monster anime, which is kind of odd. I'm not sure why they didn't get physical rights as well, because I think that's another NIS America dead license. What I would hope that they would pick up, but maybe they're just judging how much digital sales they get if they want to do a Blu-ray release of it later. But yeah, that was one of those ones that I gotta. This is one of the bad ones. Like I used to do a lot of reviews for NIS America for their anime stuff because I was with a gaming publisher for video games, and they had NIS America video games, and then they would have their anime side go, hey, you want copies of these, and they would send them to me, and I would do reviews of them. And this is one of the ones where, like, literally when they sent a review copy, like, I have to admit, getting review copies from NIS America was really awesome because, like, I got my Lull to Sea big box set. I wish I was doing reviews for them back when they did Katana Gatari, because then I would have got that for free, and I would have gotten Hanasaki Roha. But I started doing them after those were released. So I got Lull in the Sea, which was fantastic. I got the Flag Breaks. I got that box set from them to review. I got the what was that one that you really liked? The one where the girl can read minds, and she had like a purry friend. Yeah, Kotaro-san. I think I got that one as well. And then I got this one, and this one came literally in an envelope with 2 disc sleeves, the Blu-rays and the disc sleeves, like no box set or anything like that. So I'm like, I've literally already reviewed this show, and so I can't really do additional stuff like review the box set. I review what's in it, review the, if there's art books, basically all that stuff I would review. I'd talk about the quality, the extra content, the box set itself, the art books, all that kind of stuff. And this is like, I'm literally just talking about the show because you sent me 2 discs. Is this right? So I have like a case that I just print out a piece of paper that has the artwork to put it inside the sleeve of the Blu-ray box. But anyways, sorry, long tangent story. I just found it really interesting that we got a review copy and it was just 2 discs, which is like, and that's the troubling thing. Like, okay, so when NIS America sends me this Lull in the Sea box set, it's like, holy crap, I'm telling people about how like this box set, it looks incredible, the visual design on it, the mesh, or the artwork, the texture on the outside of it, all looks incredible, and here's the content in it. So it gives people an idea of like, oh wow, this box set itself is incredible. I want to get this physical box set from NIS America. What happens if they just send me the CDs? I tell them the show is great. What do people do? I'm gonna go watch the show on Netflix, on Crunchyroll. Like, it doesn't get, I can't tell you to go buy the box set, and it doesn't help you sell the box set when all you send me is a show. But yeah, please, Sentai Filmworks, get Katana Gatari. Like all these license pickups, like, get Katana Gatari. Why can't anybody get that stinking show? It makes me wonder if there's something, like some kind of statistics that say that it didn't perform well in the West, or that it just, there's some kind of licensing problem, because why wouldn't somebody have grabbed that show yet? It literally is Nisyosen. Why wouldn't you have grabbed it yet? It's got to be tied up somewhere. I know I contacted NIS America directly back when I was doing reviews for them, and they literally said that they don't even have the license anymore. So it's up there. It's floating. It's not that they have it. Somebody please grab it. And if somebody did buy it, I know that they would say that they have it, because otherwise you don't just spend money and just let it sit there and don't say anything. But yeah. Moving on. Anime Ego has announced their next Kickstarter, which is Metal Skin Panic Maddox 01, which they of course be doing another Blu-ray run for. Apparently, like within hours, they got their goal, which is not surprising. I think the fandom behind Anime Ego and their releases is just top notch. So definitely can contest. They got some great quality to their releases. I've gotten 2 of them now so far, Gunsmith Cats and that other one, I forget the name of it. Yeah, it's sad that I don't know the name of something that I backed. I just know that they do an incredible job, so they just back them. I think it was dang it.
Wasn't the one that just came out?
Yes. This one. Megazone. Yeah, Megazone 23. So now I have like to maybe have another one. I don't know. I forget how many I've bought from them, but they do incredible work. So definitely, if that's exciting, definitely do your research. See if that's something. I literally, this is one of those ones where I'm like, I don't remember anything about Metal Skin Panic. So it sounds familiar, it looks familiar, but I don't remember anything about it. But yeah, keep doing what you're doing. They do incredible work, and I love that they're kind of bringing all these old works back and it's not just them bringing them back. It's like bringing them back and giving them proper releases and doing incredible work on remastering them and getting as much content as they can to put along with it. Like, I love Gunsmith Cats, so when I knew that they were doing it, I was like, holy crap, thank you so much. Somebody is going to give us a proper, like a respectable, cool release of a series that was like something of my childhood. So, yep. Cool stuff. Smile Down the Runway is concluding with its 22nd volume on August 17th. So apparently that manga is coming to an end.
Really?
Kind of interesting. It's interesting because apparently another translation for it is Smile at the Runway, and I didn't know that. But yeah, 22 volumes is pretty beefy. It's a pretty beefy series. I mean, that's technically what I have in Noragami right now. I think it's 23. 22. I had 22. It's pretty beefy length, but yeah, cool stuff.
Is the yellow one a side story?
Yeah, it's the stray Noragami stray story or something like that. Funny little extras. For licenses, really quickly, we have Yen Press has licensed Never Open It novel, Konosuba tabletop RPG, New York manga, The Hero Laughs While Walking the Path of Vengeance, a second time light novel, Eroica novel, The Otherworlders Exploring the Dungeon light novel, I Kept Pressing 100 Million Button and Came Out on Top light novel, Saw My Spider So What Daily Lives of Kumiko Sisters manga, Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon 2 manga, The Detective Is Already Dead manga, which that was interesting that somebody... Usually they're pretty quick on picking up those adaptations, but that one's one that's getting an anime adaptation here soon. Ring of the Seven Spellblades manga. Seven Seas has licensed Necromance novel. Is it Necromance? Necromance? Or is it Necromance? Maybe it's just a playoff of Necromance. Anyways, I think it's supposed to be a playoff of Necromance, but... I am an evil lord of an intergalactic empire light novel, The Two Lions manga, Kiruru Kill Me manga, and The Girl I Want Is So Handsome manga. So, interesting stuff. Which one do we need to check out? We always have one that stands out we have to check out. None of these are really that interesting. It's fine, though. So yeah, that's it for the news. I think we have enough time for one question because we took so damn long talking. Let's see. Again, if you want your question answered or asked, if you want your question answered on the podcast, you can post it on our forums at talkingspirit.com. You can click on the contact us button on talkingspirit.com. Do it there. Send it to Andrew at talkingspirit.com. There's many ways to do it. Just like technically this was on our husband and waifu effect podcast or video YouTube thing. Comment says, I like your topic. You know what's interesting? ReZero is an example of a show that this is, by the way, is Yehu Satori. Sorry. Example of a show that where a lot of people like because Rim in season 1. And also have the same dislike because the story focused on Amelia in season 2. For fans that watch ReZero just for Ram, they probably not like season 2 just because Rim doesn't have screen time in season 2. I think they meant Rim. Okay, anyways. Let's see here. The show doesn't have a average score masterpiece of 9++ that have harem tropes because they choose one character over many other characters. I guess the point that he's getting to, because I think that's probably just a issue with the typing on there, but essentially this is an interesting concept, and I almost was thinking we might do an entire podcast on this, but it essentially, the idea is, what do you think, based on our conversation about the waifu and husbando effect, where we were talking about the idea of using waifus and husbandos to essentially sell a show. What about the reverse effect when you essentially alienate one character that essentially was the draw? Like, ReZero is he brings up the perfect example, which is ReZero. What was so great about the first season for me? I loved Rem. And what did I feel so, like, lacking in season 2? Rem. So it's like, it almost has a reversed effect where you... And the harem's a prime example of that. I mean, I loved Quintessential Quintuplets for the first season because I'm like, I loved Miku. But then when you started to get into other characters and she takes the background, do you suddenly not like the show? Does it have it's basically a double-edged blade. You sell a show on a character, and then you ruin it by not having that character. Is essentially, wow, what does Andrew complain about, like, with so many shows? You sell me on a character, and then you bait and switch. Golden Time, Sakura-sao.
You can. I mean, you're not wrong. At the same time, I think that season 2 gave some of the other characters a lot of room to breathe.
Oh, no doubt.
Which is in some cases
that's why I said for me lacking. Not that I hated season 2 of ReZero.
Right. It did. Because in season 2 we got breathing room for Ram. We got breathing room for Emilia. We got breathing room for Beatrice, which. Beatrice in herself was huge for me because I absolutely adored that character, and to actually get her some time to actually flesh out her character was fantastic to me. Emilia, I have a lot of Beetlejuice. An excellent addition to the harem that we didn't have before. But it's funny to actually get some of these characters that where we wanted them, but we didn't really get a lot of room with them. It is funny because, like, Felix is another character that kind of got left to the wayside because of the moving into season 2. Some of the characters that we didn't necessarily, they weren't huge in our list, but at the same time, it was like they kind of just fell by the wayside because we moved into almost a whole different aspect of the story where
it was very isolating, and I think I mentioned that in a review. But no, and it's funny because I don't. ReZero is a weird case. I mean, I wouldn't really necessarily. I agree fully on fully. I agree with you fully. I agree with you fully on the idea of, like, a harem. But I don't necessarily agree on the idea of something like ReZero. I think there's going to be a lot of people that will go on, each episode of the release of ReZero and go, where the heck is Ram? And then there'll be the responses, who's Ram? Those jokes will probably still continue with every episode of that second season. But even though there's those jokes, I don't think that there's people like that. I guess there could be people like that go, oh, forget second season because, it doesn't have enough Ram. And I'm sure there's probably some really crazy fanatics that would probably do that. I'm not doubting it. I just don't think people as a whole would go, well, season 2 was terrible because it didn't have Rem in it. And I'm like the most diehard. I have a gigantic body pillow esque looking wall scroll. I have like 3 or 4 figures of Rem. I love Rem to death. But I wouldn't, like, not watch season 2 and rate it terrible because it doesn't have Rem in it. Because there was, like you said, there's all these other characters that had fantastic stories. I finally got a reason to like Emilia, which I didn't. I thought that she was just not a character really much so in the first season for obvious reasons, for story reasons. But I can say that watching a show that's very focused on the idea of relationships and a harem or a who's the girl that's going to win, that's, I think, where you do technically create that opposite effect of you sell a character so much and then you go to sell a next character so much that you isolate the other character so much that you create this opposite effect of almost You sell me the shit. You sell me the show based on a character, and then you make me hate this show because you're not focusing on the character you sold me. And that's, I think, is, like you mentioned, I think that is technically a double-edged blade there that you do have when creating that waifu and husbando effect, basically. Husbando. Is it husbando or husbando? Potato.
I don't know.
Omnipotent. It's gonna be an ongoing joke. But yeah, thanks, Yahoo Satori. That's definitely an interesting way of looking at our long and drawn out waifu and husbando effect podcast. I kind of wish that was something that I can add to the end of that podcast, because I think that was an interesting way of really looking at it. It's not really so much the selling point that we were talking about, but really that reverse effect that ends up happening with, like I said, several series that Andrew has watched that gets him. It's the crazy thing, because, like, honestly, with like Pekro Sakura-san, I don't say don't go watch it. I mean, it's a perfectly fine show. Go watch it. I had a lot of fun watching it, but it is one of those shows where I don't go out my way to mention it, because that right there, the show sold me on a character, and then it just flipped it, and it made me so mad I can't forget it. Like, how long was it since that show came out, and I still won't shut up about it.
Yep.
Like, it is a joke that I keep telling people. It's a pun. It's a phrase for me. This show Sakura-sa'd me. That's how bad it was. Golden Time, like I said, technically did a similar thing, and I hate that. I hate it so much. But anyways, I think our next podcast episode we could probably answer quite a bit more. We'll probably have some more time, since I think we had to cover a lot of questions. But we'll probably do like a topic podcast next week, and then we'll do like a discussional podcast, which I'm hoping we'll have a lot more time to do questions. We're getting a little bit stacked up on questions, so we could probably do maybe we'll just do an entire mailbag episode.
Think so?
I think we could. I don't know. I'd have to research some of the questions, because I don't want to. If I do a mailbag question, that's the thing, is like, I do a mailbag question episode. It's like, I want to make sure that I really nitty gritty a lot of these questions. Sometimes we're on the fly with some of them, and I don't answer them well enough. But yeah, that is what it is. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed this discussional podcast episode. It's so funny because we didn't really have many topics. We just talked too damn much. But that is what it is. I know some people enjoy that. We did get some interesting conversations going, so that's good. I think we have some good questions there. I completely forgot the big ones that was going to be our topic, but aliens watching anime. Yeah, they stream at 100% speed. Yeah. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this discussional podcast episode where we talked about the news that seems important to us. It should be important to you because it's important to us. It should be important to you because it's important to us. And as always, we're at talkaspirit.com. That's where you can go for all of our anime, new and old, great community info links, top social media links on the right side, and all that good stuff. And our social media links on the right side, including our YouTube channel, which you can go to and watch our great videos that Andrew makes. And hopefully we'll start including Chris in it, just so that I can figure out how to actually have two people on the same camera at one time. But yeah.
Don't necessarily need to see me.
Yeah, dude. It's the whole point in the YouTube videos. It's like everybody wants what was it? The joke was, we need a Chris unboxing video. So you have to, like, I guess open a box and you pop out of it and then sit in front of the camera. So
if you put me in front of the camera, then everybody will ask to take you off the camera because I'm just so gorgeous.
We'll have to do like one of those goofy, like, little, like, I guess the most basic way we can do it is just where I'm on the camera and I'm talking about a show, and then you like slowly face into the camera, like just like left. I don't know why I'm doing the action. Like, you can actually see what I'm doing, people. But we have to do something really crazy. Maybe we can do like a stop motion thing, like we used to do in the old days with the cameras, and you just like stop motion into the frame.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Be like all robotic looking. We gotta do something really incredible. Maybe we'll do like the gender reveal stuff. Like, they set fire to like entire hills and stuff with like explosives and TNT now.
We could do that.
We could do some crazy like gender reveal explosion party just to have Chris pop out of a box.
There you go.
Really?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
We could do a stripper, like a stripper cake.
Yeah, stripper cake.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude, where do you buy those? Like, do you just go to a cake place and say, I need a stripper cake? And they go, okay, let me build a cake around a box. And then how do they put the toppings and everything on top of it when you get... Do you, like, sit in there for, like, hours while they make the cake on top of you?
Goodness, I hope not. I'm too impatient for that crap.
Do you sit still long enough? See, that's the best way to get through the zombie apocalypse and the alien apocalypse is that you just get inside of a stripper cake.
They just decide that I'm not worth it?
Well, like, aliens don't know what the cake is. They may eat some of it. But then they're like, that's too sugary. That's going to definitely mess with our physique. Because, you see aliens, they're super skinny.
Yeah. And
they obviously don't have sugar.
And American stuff is too sweet. This is historically proven.
They touch it and they're like, no, that's not fake sucralose sugar or anything like that, or sucrose. We can't touch that. That will mess with my physique. And then I won't be able to walk through our doorways that are literally only 2 inches wide.
There you go.
Aliens are skinny. They can't have sugar, so they'll avoid it. And the aliens, they're looking for brains, obviously, because that's
zombies.
Brains. Yeah, brains.
And I don't have any brains.
Aliens are looking for brains, too. They just want to check it out, and I don't even know if they're looking for our brains anymore. Like they get the brains. They're like, man, this is just a really bad specimen. I think they get more out of the cow brain than us.
That's true.
Because we're just too focused on our phones. They're like, there's nothing in here but phone information.
Yep, pretty much.
That how to this part of the brain is completely isolated to how to function.
What you don't understand is the zombie apocalypse already started. That's what the phones are.
Because we always walk around going, and we like just fiddle with our fingers.
And that's why half of us are driving off the road all the time.
And like the aliens are watching this, are like, man, the zombie apocalypse already happened. They're just walking around looking down all the time. See, then that makes them like, we don't need to invade anymore because they're already dead.
Yeah, and we can't communicate to each other anymore. We say, hey, this happened, and we go,
Why are the zombies sitting in a cafe? And they're still looking down, though, so they're still zombies. Anyways, we gotta go. Thank y'all for watching or listening, and y'all take care.
Os.